A violent storm brews off the coast of Antarctica. Hurricane-force winds whip the water into a frenzy of ice swells. They will reach almost 50 feet in height as they head out to open sea. Half a world away in Huntington Beach, California, private storm tracker and surf forecaster Sean Collins has spotted the storm. As he pulls down information from weather satellites, he is in awe. The storm is headed north. This means its waves may sweep all the way up the Pacific to California and even Alaska.
When we were watching this storm come together, it was like holding a match and a can of gasoline. We knew this thing was just going to blow up here pretty quick.
Storms like this usually move east, raging against the nearby coast of South America. For Sean, this rare northern trajectory represents a golden opportunity.
It's always been kind of a dream of mine to follow a swell for a great period of time over a great distance.
But Sean has bigger plans for these monster swells than just tracking them. He wants someone to ride them as far as the storm goes. And he knows just the right person. 4,000 miles away in Tahiti, 9-time world bodyboarding champion Mike Stewart is filming a surfing video. He's unaware of both the powerful storm moving toward Tahiti from Antarctica and Sean's plans for pitting him against nature at its most violent. Mike has been one of Sean's surf forecasting clients for more than 10 years.
The tricky part is finding the best waves and the best conditions. You know, that makes all the difference in the world to have someone like Sean be able to tell you where the right place is to go.
Sean Collins first began trying to forecast storm swells in the 1970s. The reason was simple. He loved surfing.
I just developed a need, really out of selfishness, to try to get better ways to take it a little bit further as far as forecasting surf. It just grew into almost an obsession to try to get the best waves.
At that time, forecasting ocean swells just wasn't being done, not even by the U.S. Navy. Over the years, Sean learned how to capture information from a variety of sources: ocean data gathering buoys, weather charts, but he's particularly fond of a European weather satellite.
This is actually from the ERS-2 satellite. The instrumentation which they have aboard is it's a Doppler radar type system where it'll send down the radar and get the bounce back coming back off the surface of the ocean and calculate exactly the difference in the ranges between the peaks and the valleys of the ocean surface.
That tells him how tall the swells are at sea. From there, he's able to determine how big the waves will be when they hit land. As a swell reaches shore, the rising seafloor forces the water upwards, creating waves.
Good afternoon, Surfline.
Sean sells this precious information, helping surfers to find the best waves anywhere in the world. For Mike Stewart, it will lead him to the perfect wave. Before leaving Tahiti, Mike, as usual, checks in with Sean.
I was going to plan on leaving on Saturday.
And gets the news of the powerful swells heading his way from Antarctica.
Sheesh. Okay.
And I said, man, you better stay put because this thing is really coming up. You're going to have some huge waves in Tahiti over the next week. I don't think he really at that point knew what was ahead of him.
Mike trusts Sean's advice and stays put.
There is an incredible anticipation when you know it's going to be big, because you're going to confront this thing that, you know, might take your life away.
A few days later, giant waves formed nearly 1,000 miles away slam into the island.
It was amazing. It's the biggest I've ever seen it down there. Got some of the best waves of my life.
But this is just the first of a series of dangerous rides for Mike on his journey north. While champion bodyboarder Mike Stewart rides the monster waves striking Tahiti, surf tracker Sean Collins uses a device called a scatterometer to anticipate where the storm swells will hit next.
The scatterometer takes that thumbprint of the ocean surface and it can generate the picture of what the wavelengths or the swell periods are. And if we know the swell periods, then we can calculate how fast the waves are moving.
He realizes the waves are now moving at 900 miles a day, straight toward Hawaii. He calls Mike and convinces him he can ride this one storm all the way and into surfing legend. The plan is an exhausting and dangerous one. Huge waves at locations hundreds of miles apart, with just enough time for travel in between. From Tahiti, there is only one flight per week to Hawaii. Mike catches it just in time. The Swell is headed for a legendary surf break on Maui called Malaya.
It's like one of the fastest waves in the world, and it rarely breaks.
This swell is coming up straight out of the south, so it was able to fit right in this very narrow channel to get up here to Malaya. If it's off by just a few degrees, one way or the other, it'll be flat.
When Mike arrives, Malaya is breaking, just as Sean predicted.
A lot of energy. We're following the energy across the Pacific. So, this is it, brother. Tracking that swell. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. I couldn't believe a wave like that existed in Hawaii. It looked like Indonesia or something. It was just perfect.
Ecstatic after surfing the Hawaiian waves, Mike checks in with Sean in California.
He was going to stay and surf some more, but he wasn't sure about coming to California. I said, no, it's already showing up on the buoys here.
He said, if you want to hit this swell, you don't have 2 days, you only have 1 day now. You better get up there. You better leave tonight.
Mike catches the last flight to Los Angeles, then heads to a famous Newport Beach surf break called the Wedge.
The Wedge is just a kind of a mutant of a wave. So you just get this crashing, pitching, wave, which is almost impossible to surf.
The waves that started 11 days ago, over 6,000 miles away in Antarctica, are still sweeping north. But Mike's surfing journey is not over yet. Sean catches up with him the next day.
Yeah, I heard you got some great waves last week, huh? And I was trying to, say, you got to do Alaska, you got to do Alaska, you got to do this, you got to finish the goal.
I was too tired and I didn't really want to go. But the idea of continuing on and just to really explore and see, what more is there to learn. So I just said, hey, I'm going.
After a 6-hour flight to Anchorage, Mike hires a bush pilot to take him to a glacier-shadowed beach near the Alaskan village of Yakutat. In a full-body dry suit to protect him from the 40-degree water, he glides over the same waves he first rode in tropical Tahiti. Though the waves have diminished considerably on their 7,000-mile trip, Mike Stewart's spirits are higher than ever.
At that point, it was almost like it was a delirium. It was almost like this swell had a personality, and it was like a primitive living creature.
From Tahiti to Hawaii to California and finally Alaska, Mike and Sean have followed a surfer's dream. With Sean's brains and Mike's brawn, they have predicted and surfed a single storm's waves halfway around the planet.